so nimble against Griffin's team composition. And it is a support rumble, but I feel like the Taric just has so much more going for him that it really just feels like pound for pound, Hanwha Life's team composition is so much better.
Yeah, not the first time this has happened. We saw this in game number 1 as well. And they get a lot of champions that they already looked good on, which I'm a big fan of. You know, Ezreal Taric specifically, coming in once again for the bottom lane. Of course, they had help from an early Jarvan gank in game 1, but just the way it was played, I have confidence in that. Ucal, though, bringing out the Azir once again. He's trying to up that win rate for that champion, currently 3-1 in the LCK Spring 2020. As we're going to take a look now at the opposite side here. Hanwha Life, Ziggs coming out once again. Some really heavy magic damage being added to this lineup.
And, I mean, we're going to see what Hanwha Life are going to do in this game. They can just make it into the mid game without anything going too chaotic. They're going to be on really good footing. Well, does look like there's just going to be a 5-point spread by both of these teams.
I'm always excited to watch a Ziggs player play. Although, for the early game, there shouldn't be too much action. Picks up the Scorch. I know. Last Shadow, a.k.a. LS, is a big fan of the Scorch. Azir, though, did pick up the Gathering Storm. So there you go. Only one Scorch. Oh, no, there's two. There's two. Rumble picked it up, too.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
Well, nothing too exciting seems to be happening here early on as Viper and Irove, they're just going to come in, plant a ward. We've seen this before, by the way. The control ward that Hanwha Life likes to place in that brush. And it does mean that Lehends is going to be starting without any potions. Now, Taric obviously does have his heal available to him, so it's not the end of the world for him. And we'll just see what's going to happen down in this bot lane. What can Irove manage to end up doing? We've seen the support rumble come out in other games before. But
oh boy.
in this one, going to be a little bit more difficult for him to coordinate anything. The other thing that is working against the Rumble, Azir, and Mordekaiser is the enemy team is so incentivized to get magic resistance. And so, even the Jarvan, when he ends up going Cinderhulk, he's not going to have a lot of damaging stats, and so the Cinderhulk burn damage likely to walk into a lot of magic resist.
That was a good trade by Sword, actually. Did a really good job to pull him in, activated the passive, but stayed out of range of the third Q of the Aatrox. He's going to end up pushing this one in, but gets a nice little advantage from that play. I believe he did miss the cannon there, though.
Yeah.
Rumble support, very fun, actually. It's quite interactive. You have a lot of rockets to throw out. So you're very active in the lane all the time, trying to poke out. Haru level 3. Let's see if that Q was used here. It looks like, well, he's just going to flash it. Very safe, not taking any chances.
And minute and a half until the Infernal Dragon does end up coming up. And we should assume that Hanwha Life shouldn't be in a position to get it, and so that could just be a nice little victory for Griffin to pick up super early on. We'll see what sort of a soul we end up getting this game as well. As so far, everyone's just going to be playing ping pong with each other. We have teleport on Lava, teleport on Tempt as well. teleport on Ucal, and so these are the makings of a very slow lane phase game.
Yeah, 5 teleports in the game. Look at the double cleanse in the bottom lane for Griffin. Really not messing around with that. Ucal, no flash, but he's going to play this one extremely patiently and passively. Goes all the way back behind the turret. Knows that a follow-up gank could come because he does not have his flash. Will be able to avoid most of that. Sort of just inviting Cuvee into these trades. He's taking a bunch of damage that perhaps he doesn't have to, but he ends up on top every time.
Well, top lane is really just playing ping pong back and forth. Nice little juke there by Sword. Proto Dragon has spawned. Jarvan's in close proximity to it, as I'm not sure if they know about Haru.
Haru currently a camp behind the Jarvan for now, but Tarzan here is going to get started on an early Infernal Drake. You mentioned how Hanwha Life wouldn't really have any way to get on top of it, so they're going to start that extremely early on in this game in about 5 minutes. Take that one down without a hit. Smite comes in. Not sure if you have to smite there, really. I suppose it saves you about 2 seconds, but you could have just had it for your next camp. There was absolutely no pressure from the side of Hanwha Life.
And Ocean is going to be the second one of the game. Very interesting to actually see Ucal with the double Doran's ring on the Azir. I feel like it's going to be stunting his build, and Cuvee already with some magic resistance picked up. Hex Drinker on the Aatrox. As, well, this is definitely going to enter the ping pong state soon. Lost Chapter going to be able to be picked up by Tempt, probably on his next recall. Ezreal, a little bit down in the CS department right now, coming back with just Sheen and a Sapphire Crystal. Misfortune with the BF Sword, having a really good lane state for herself right now. Both junglers without really anything to do.
Yeah, we saw the Jarvan extremely active in game 1, but this game, not really having an opportunity to do that. Mid lane, of course, until Ucal hits 6, is just going to be a farm fest. A bit of poking from the mid laners, but that's about it. Suppose he could have tried the top lane, but he never did. He just elected to go for the objective early on instead of using his time to make a gank happen in the top lane or anything like that. No dives were set up in the bottom side. They don't have any CC except a slow out of those missiles that the Rumble likes to shoot out. Take a look at the CS gap that's already opened up down the bottom side. That's really where Griffin is getting the majority of their gold lead right now.
As Misfortune going to try to eventually convert into turret plates. Recalls one more time. Now coming back to lane with double longsword, and really, I mean, we're going to have to wait for the junglers, it seems, to end up hitting 6 before we start getting some action. Mordekaiser does look like he's going Proto Belt first item, which is a little bit surprising, given that Griffin should be in this for the long haul, and thus items like Proto Belt, even if there's some instances where you can argue about the utility of the item, it definitely is a bit shocking to not just see him going straight into more core items, like the Liandry's, and just getting that out of the way. It's going to be pretty hard for him to accelerate here. Sword coming in underneath the turret.
Yep, the map is being opened up right now by the side of Griffin. Sword taking a huge amount of damage, but so will Cuvee, as he's just going to die. First blood as he challenged 3 of them. Not to mention the 4th who is in here, and now Haru's all caught up underneath the turret. That'll be an easy flash away from Tarzan to get out of danger as Griffin take 2, and they have this Rift Herald right at the 8-minute mark.
Yeah, they have it, and they're not utilizing it right now. Although, okay.
They want to
So,
chop the turrets.
This is a little surprising. This is a very early turret capture. Now, even if it looks like, okay, this is fantastic. They got 5 turret plates top lane. They're getting first turret. Remember, Ezreal down in bot lane. He's getting plates too. He already has 3. I think he's going to be able to get 4. And so now, the Aatrox is going to have a free long lane to CS in, and Lava not going to be able to actually get the 4th plate. But in the end, Griffin does end up getting ahead in terms of turret plates, as well as that first blood turret. We'll have to see what the ramifications of all of this is. As Cuvee, honestly, I had no idea what he's doing there.
He greeted for the 3rd Q. Thought maybe if one of them pulled aggro under the turret, he could do Aatrox things, but I mean, it was 4v1. 3v1 in that exact moment, but perhaps he thought there was no escape and he just decided to do as best as he could. It did not end up working out for him and made it look a bit silly in the play.
And right now, 15 seconds until that Ocean Dragon comes up. It's not imperative for Hanwha Life to actually get it. So now this is actually the part of the game where I would start talking about how anytime Mordekaiser shoves a wave into Aatrox, Cuvee can actively look to freeze it. And then Mordekaiser has to overextend too far. That would allow Sejuani to just walk up and eventually kill him. And it's way too early in the game to realistically siege tier 1 turrets without a Rift Herald or something of that nature. As Haru not going to actually be able to get the Scuttle Crab.
Denied.
Yeah, respecting the Death Realm on Mordekaiser. Griffin going to get the 2nd dragon of the game, and we're getting Mountain.
Is he freezing up there? He
Hold
allowed
on.
one of it. Oh,
Yeah, he's just cute. Yeah,
he did for one wave.
Valdez, we were almost there, but not quite.
He did for 1 wave, okay. Start with 1, then we can move on to 2. Maybe 3.
What's after 3?
Why do you ask me these hard questions? I don't have all the answers, LS.
Oh, if only. Now, if Cuvee was still freezing, this wave that Mordekaiser's walked up to would not be there for him. Nor would any of the XP. So a bit of a lost opportunity right there. As I think Aatrox, let's see what he ends up actually recalling into. Will it be the Phage, or is he going to go Warhammer? And if he ends up picking up Warhammer, that's going to be a very stunted Black Cleaver. Okay, it's Build-A-Bear Workshop here.
Picked up Merc Treads.
Picked up Merc Treads, yeah.
Well, he's already stacking a lot of defenses. In his builds, he's got Merc Treads, Hex Drinker, some health, the gem.
And you can see Haru, he really wanted to get it. Yeah, he almost said the F word in Korean. And did not get the smite onto the Scuttle Crab. Little unfortunate for him there.
Yeah. That's like their way of not cursing.
Yeah.
You know? Very common. Like doing it but not doing it at the same time.
Fiendish Codex picked up by Azir. Looks like Ucal is going to be going Nashor's Tooth first item. As we have 3 minutes until the Mountain Drake comes up.
That we do.
Yeah.
Any interesting topics that you can cover in about 3 minutes?
You know, I mean, there's definitely some.
Yeah.
But we don't need to talk about this.
Oh, okay.
Valdez.
All right. We can talk about the game.
We could.
I mean,
Would you like to do that?
Well, Ezreal was never able to get another play down here. It's just a sad Ezreal in the end of the day. And he's still way behind on Viper, who is by far the most fed in this game. Got a bunch of the plates, has 2 kills. He's even gonna be fed the Scuttle Crab. The guy is on a roll here. We'll see if he can actually carry on the MF this time around. The MF in game 1 was a little bit shoddy, but it's hard sometimes when your frontline just gets demolished and the set is right on top of you. This time they picked the MF and they banned the set, so maybe that was the idea behind it. Curious to see if Tempt can actually make anything happen with this 6. Always an interesting pick. Sometimes it falls flat on its face if you can't hit his many skill shots.
Well, 2,500 gold is the advantage, and like you're talking about, in terms of skill shots, we're not gonna have any skill shots. Valdez, we're playing ping pong. And that is everyone's favorite sport here.
Yes.
As Nashor's Tooth was the item of choice for the Azir. Another Rift Herald picked up by Griffin. Now turret plates have gone down, so surely not the most important neutral objective, as Haru, he really wants to guarantee that this wave shuts in, as well as get himself a little bit of XP. Junglers love solo lane XP.
Oh, yeah. So greedy, those junglers. Taking everything they can from the laners. Missed the auto there. See you later, 14 gold. Says Viper, I don't need that. Well, Mountain Drake is coming up here soon. 20 seconds. And then, maybe then, we will have a fight. I heard one of the Korean casters yesterday talking about how he wasn't a huge fan of how it feels like there are these lull states. That's not the term he used, but these lull states in between dragons. And it does feel like the game has evolved into that a little bit.
Yeah. Mountain Dragon's up right now. Griffin, they're in close proximity to it. They are shoving it out. I don't think this is a dragon that Hanwha Life wants to give up. Irove.
Tempt, though. Ugh.
Ooh, whiffing.
That should be hittable from that range.
Yeah.
It has a longer flight time the farther you are away from where you throw it. So if they're right next to you, you can predict where they're going to run, and then they either have to flash out of it or take the damage. But he just kind of botched that one, probably because he was being shot in the face by a bullet time. Would not be surprised.
And it's really surprising that now, without that Ziggs ultimate available, how are Hanwha Life really going to conduct this team fight? Aatrox doesn't have his core item completed either. It's going to be on Tempt to really just try to deal a lot of damage leading up to this. As Azir looks like he's going to rotate down to bottom again one more time. It's a 3,000 gold advantage for Griffin right now. They also have the Infernal Dragon, so you can factor that in. Maybe it brings it to about 4K. Ucal going to take the Blast Cone over. This is a very difficult place to team fight in.
Gotta be careful, Tarzan.
Ucal taking damage, actually, from the Drake.
Yeah. I like the way that Hanwha is handling this. They're not fully committing to a Drake. They're just waiting for Griffin to get out of position and then trying to poke him down.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Ziggs and you have Ezreal, so you have this ability to just poke ahead and threaten. But you also have the ability to disengage through Sejuani ultimate being thrown out. You have a lot of burst damage that's going to hit them in the face if they're running directly at you. You have a Taric that can throw out a Dazzle onto one of your tanks. And so they're really just taking it extremely slow. Not wasting any time.
They're still posturing around for this dragon. And it's super important for them to actually end up getting it, as all of their champions are going to be building resistances. You can already see that most of them do have some, as it currently stands. And this gold advantage is about 2,500 now. So the ping pong keeps continuing. Nashor's Tooth also going to be second item for Sword. I find that so peculiar, rather than just getting the Leandries. As Griffin now, they're going to start up the Mountain Drake, and it looks like Hanwha Life are just fine to give it over.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
They were putting, obviously, a lot of priority on it, and then they said, nah, you know, actually, we'll let you have it. And there was a little bit of a push that happened in the top side, but Cuvee had TP. They didn't have a great, you know, flank TP ward or anything like that, but if they really had put enough priority on it, they could have made a fight happen, but they elect not to.
And teleport now being used by Ziggs going into mid lane. Tarzan is going to keep clearing out his entire left-hand side jungle. And really, there's no reason to have any action start until that next dragon ends up coming up. Now, interestingly, Tempt, he built an Oblivion Orb. There's already targets on the enemy team that have magic resistance. And then in addition to that, you're staring down a potential Mountain Soul. And on top of that, the enemy already has a Mountain Drake. So if we factor in the GPM of the Ziggs and also the time until the next dragon, I think it's so likely Tempt could have just gotten to Void Staff.
I think it's
now,
it's pretty absolute that he could have.
The good news is, though, is that he almost deals true damage to Viper. Viper only has 36 magic resist. But every other target, I do believe, exceeds that MR threshold, and then obviously Void has more AP, even though it does cost a little bit more.
Should be doing near true damage to the Rumble at the same time. Although I believe because he's a melee champion, he should have more MR per level. Not 100% sure about that, but still, no MR items built as it currently stands.
And Death Cap is second item as well for Ucal. 2.5 minutes until the Mountain Dragon does end up coming up. Trinity Force should be completed by then for Lava, and that's going to be do or die for Hanwha Life.
Okay.
Cuvee is up 2 levels, by the way.
Yeah, and Sword is just getting into this one.
Did he just miss Proto Belt?
He Proto Belted to the side as the flashes come out here, but Sword is going to respond. And that was okay. Maybe he was just trying to bait for his buddies to come down here and get a kill. Because it looks like it should happen, actually. They beat over the kill to Viper. It looked silly in the end, but there's no real... I mean, maybe they could have started the Baron.
Blanking on Viper's rune. So, a lot of people probably just saw Viper use his cleanse. And some people might be going, Keck W, that's not heal. I'm blanking on if Viper has Nimbus Cloak. Because if Viper has Nimbus Cloak, then he's using the cleanse in order to get the movement speed to guarantee that he can stay onto the Aatrox. It's not a mistake.
He has Gathering Power, so I wouldn't... Or Gathering Storm. I wouldn't be surprised if he does have Nimbus.
Now, Cuvee is as far ahead as he is as a byproduct of the lane states constantly inside of the dances after the first top-tier turret went down. Or, well, Cuvee's so ahead. I'm sorry, Sword is the one that's behind. So right here, yeah, it looks like he has Nimbus Cloak.
He does.
Okay. Nice.
He figured it out. Nice. Nice. Even. And, well, we got Mountain Drake in about a minute. I almost said an hour. I wonder if that would have been a little bit of a Freudian slip, as this game hasn't had the most action. And I think part of the reason why Sword went into that death chamber was because he felt forced to, because he got caught by the chains. And he was like, okay, well, either I go in the chamber or I'm just going to get rocked anyway. So either way, it did look silly. He didn't play it out too well, but it ended up working out from the side of Griffin. As now nobody's here. And he's just going to get a nice little free turret.
Yeah, he ends up picking that up for himself. And Hanwha Life are in a fantastic position here to actually get the next Mountain Dragon, which is coming up in 20 seconds. And
what?
I don't know what's going on here. Why are we...
Ucal TP'd from bottom side to the mid tier 2. I guess they were really scared about a push coming in, and they wanted him to be there to wave clear and for the fight over the Mountain Drake.
This is the really scary thing, is a lot of the members on Griffin right now are losing, or they've lost a bit of HP. And Irove, yeah, this is now, if Tarzan gets the steal.
He's just going in there. The Cataclysm comes down, and he is going to get the steal, as Mountain Soul will be the play here for Griffin. And you can see Sword in the backline just trying to go 1v1 versus Cuvee. He is going to go down in the end. Ends up pulling him in. You can see the poke is coming out here. Oh, if that Sejuani ultimate landed, would have been so nice. But in the end, the stopwatch is what's going to save Tarzan. Fantastic item, by the way. Big fan. And they all are able to get away, just the kill on the Sword. But Mountain Drake Soul now going to go over to Griffin, and they are in a pretty awesome spot, as they've already built up a nice amount of resistances in this game.
And so Tarzan, he goes in here. Haru ends up retreating because of the damage threat of Viper's bullet time. Sword and Cuvee obviously fighting on the north. Viper eventually getting into this fight. Tempt does flash away. And Haru whiffs his ultimate. Well, a little bit unfortunate there. They would have been able to pick up yet another kill. And now, Griffin, they did get Mountain Soul. However, we've talked about this before on the broadcast many times. Mountain Soul is susceptible to poke. It's one of the dragons that can actually be withered down and sort of become ineffective. So even though they have it, Hanwha Life still do have a team composition that allows them to stay in contention for this game.
Okay.
If it was Ocean or Infernal, I'd say go next fast.
Yeah,
but
they're not exactly in a great spot, but they have a chance, is what you are saying here. Tarzan over the wall. Trying to clear this out, but you gotta be careful when you're going up against this much poke. You can't just walk straight at them, as this is gonna happen. Irove immediately lower than half health. They have poke, and they have a way to sustain against, you know, MF and Azir poke from the other side because of the turret.
well, lots of posturing yet again. We're gonna go back into the ping pong.
I mean, it's 3.5 minutes to Elder,
another Fabled book picked up.
Yeah, I didn't want to mention it.
I gotta get to the Instagram. Hold on.
Yeah.
Perfect.
He's going up against double Merc Treads, a Stone Plate. That is actually about it for the Magic for this. Lava is going to be just fine. Their bullet time now down. Dazzle is going to miss. They're thinking about an engage here. Griffin have to be so careful as the Stone Plate will come out, but the mid lane turret is going to stay active and alive.
And we have endless wave clear here in mid. So Zig's just throwing bombs. Ucal stealing away the Raptor camp. Top left-hand side. Hanwha Life, I mean, their way to win this game is to somehow get the Elder.
You know who's really good at stealing objectives is Ziggs. The only thing is that from red side, it is much harder to steal a dragon.
I want to point out how cool something is in this game, Valdez. Tempt, level 16, Cuvee 16, Ucal 16, Sword about to be 16. Haru, level 10.
Hey, why do you gotta pick on the junglers, man?
Tart, level 11. Rumble, level 11. Tarzan, level 11. Wanted to throw that in there in case.
Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, you know, give you that little cookie of information.
Poor Haru. Oh, yep, see, you just got it there. Level 11. Level 2 ultimate now.
And I'm not really sure what...
Uh-oh. And they're just... Oh, a really nice W out of the 6, but a 3-man Cataclysm, but the Taric ultimate is perfect against that. just gonna demolish them in their jungle. Ucal and Viper zoned out and not able to do anything in this fight.
Oh, and can Cuvee actually get onto him now?
He's got
Ucal does
flash.
have Shurima.
Oh, boy.
What?
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Haru has what?
No,
I think he could have gone for it, but instead, they're going to get the Baron. This Baron's going to persist. In to Elder. Here comes Sword.
A lot of poke damage. They don't have bullet time yet, though. They will die here on the Baron. That is the play. Who is going to get it? It will go the way of Sejuani. But can they actually escape? They're looking to turn. But Tempt is not in the fight here. He's trying to help out with an ultimate, but it comes out a little bit too late as the Baron is taken here for the side of Hanwha Life. But only 2 people are alive.
So, Taric comes up in 29 seconds. So even with Home Guard, he's not able to actually get to the Elder Dragon. Haru as well, only going to have a 6-second grace period. Now, Cuvee has teleport available, so it really comes down to what can Ezreal and Ziggs try to do. I don't think they're going to be able to do that much. This was fantastic poke.
Look at that. Oh, the satchel charge.
Yeah.
Oh.
Satchel charge, Taric ultimate
So good.
coming out, and then them eventually killing Tarzan. And okay, so you can see on the live cam, I have no idea. The counter throw on the Baron, also Haru not trying to go for the ultimate on Azir, was also very surprising. Now Elder picked up by Griffin. And this is going to be a bit scary. Baron buff is going to persist for another minute and a half. So they'll have some buffer time.
They'll have ways to slow down the push from Griffin, and that's good. They gotta buy time away from this Elder buff. You never want to fight the enemy team if they actually have this buff. The way it stands, Griffin still more than 5,000 gold ahead, more than 6,000 gold ahead even in this one, and their 2 carries are just loaded. 3-0 Azir, 3-0-3 for the MF with Guardian Angel.
Well,
okay, Irove.
Oh!
Okay.
Oh,
nice
man.
stopwatch. Good item. Nearly died to that bomb though.
ends up having to flash away.
And that's the thing. They don't have Baron, and they're going up against a Ziggs, so you're not going to be able to push.
So Irove, this is going to be a very rough situation, as they only have a minute and a half remaining, but they're recalling. And I think this Elder is just going to dissipate without achieving anything. So, Valdez, we're going the distance.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
absolutely.
I believe that there's only been one team that has lost with Soul before. So
Really?
far in the LCK. Trying to think. I think it's happened. I think I saw a stat yesterday. It was in the team stats. And I'm blanking.
Possible. It's possible. I don't know.
Where are you with this? Back me up here.
I do remember the stat you're talking about. That was just for that team. I mean, it's possible that it's happened for other teams.
Well, only 50 seconds on the Elder. Minion wave being escorted here by the Mordekaiser, and even if Hanwha Life end up losing the tier 2 turret, it's not going to be the end of the world.
They're diving in here, but the Taric, the Cosmic Radiance, gonna keep Lehends alive. Bullet time does absolutely nothing. Will not be able to layer on top of that.
Yeah.
6 is getting scary. You just gotta be careful about the poke. They have to hard engage, but the Taric keeps them all alive. They gotta like force an engage, force the Cosmic Radiance, and then re-engage somehow. Or catch someone out against this poke composition. If you can get Lava or Tempt, obviously, that's even super nice.
And at this point, it's just going to be waiting now until the next Baron, as well as the next Elder. Whenever that's going to end up coming up. As we got about a minute and a half to go, Valdez. What are you going to have for dinner later?
I don't know. It's never up to me. I never get to make that decision. Oh, Lehends. You can't just walk straight into the MF, by the way.
MF actually has Guardian Angel,
Yeah.
and this is something that I really like to see sometimes players do, is you recognize that you have the Mountain Soul, and so getting defensive resistances even better in spots like that. It's already going to be difficult to bring MF down in the first place, and then she ends up rezzing and going back to full again. Okay, Baron is going to be in 50 seconds. Melvins, we're going the distance here. Haru, level 12.
And again, I don't think it's the safest thing in the world for Griffin to just
No, it's
do
not.
it. You can't just hit the Baron and hope that it works out. You know?
This is the really interesting spot where we see a soul and what it's actually vulnerable against, and we don't get to see that this often. Normally, Cloud Soul is one of the weaker ones, but even here, Mountain doesn't do a whole lot against Hanwha Life's team composition.
Yeah.
Bot lane getting shoved in. I'm honestly really curious why Sejuani isn't just absorbing even more XP. As
Maybe
the
they
level,
want to get lava till 18 or
Yeah.
something. Haru has snuck in here. They see the Jarvan, but by snuck in there, doesn't mean that he's going to attempt to fight or anything like that. Says, I'd rather not, and backs away. Moves into the same brush. Now the Baron is live. Sword on the right, Tarzan on the left. They're looking to pinch here. Handing it on in there. The equalizer going to come down, but huge damage on the Sword. But it's not enough as he gets him into the death chamber and takes out the Ziggs. That's one way to end that poke composition, just by eliminating the Ziggs and the wave clear specifically, as Griffin are able to do it, and now they'll look to push.
and this is the really peculiar thing where Hanwha Life, they knew that Griffin isn't on Baron and Elder's not even up yet. So there's no reason to walk out of the base in the manner that they did. So now it might just end up turning into Helm's Deep. As Griffin, they're going to push on. They want to end it.
I don't know if they can, though. They're going to lose these minions. Not a thick enough wave there. So they will back away, and now the play is the Elder. As you can see, the pings are going down. Hanwha Life knows about it. 10 seconds just about on Tempt. He could try to teleport and steal. I think trading for Baron is not great, and they're not going to have enough time. Look at this damage out of the MF, and oh, it's so close, but Haru a little bit too late there. He's trying to run, and in goes Ucal. He's going to get the two of them in the back there, and that should be the end of it. Tempt now out of position, has no chance against Sword, as the slowdown will come in, and Lehends will also get executed on the backside. The push will come in, and we will be going to a game number 3 as Griffin, in an elongated game here, about 37, 38 minutes, are going to be able to do it. As down will go the turrets, down will go the Nexus, as Griffin are not going to go down without a fight.
Well, they're tied up 1-1. And